Hey guys, it's Jen with Caketastic Cakes, which you probably know already. And in the poll that I did recently asking what you guys would like to see more of, if you wanted to see different kinds of content or more of certain kinds, and what got a lot of response was the how-to stuff, like the beginner basic type of things. So I figured I'd share this with you in case anybody was curious. This is how you make a marbled cake when you have the vanilla cake with the chocolate swirls and everything in it. It's super duper easy. You don't need to buy marble kits or anything like that. As long as you have either cocoa powder, chocolate syrup, or even chocolate pudding could work at home, like the dry powder stuff, the instant kind, you can make it. So I divided my batter into my two pans and I saved not quite a cup in the bowl right there. I put a tablespoon of cocoa powder into it and I'm mixing it in. And that's gonna be pretty much it. You've just made your basic chocolate cake right there. I'm gonna add a little bit of milk because the batter got really dried out because I just added a tablespoon of cocoa powder to it. So once you mix it in, you can see it's, yeah, you can kind of see it's starting to get a little looser, more runny like the other yellow batters I've got over there. And now all you do is put a few dollops in. It doesn't have to be nice and clean, but I'm putting basically, 3 spoonfuls or so, letting it drizzle around a little bit on top. And now it's like, okay, Jen, but it's just sitting on top. And that's where the little trick comes in here. And this is the only part really that requires any don't even want to use the word skill, just paying attention to it really to make sure you just don't mix it in. Because now if you were to stir it in, you would make a very weak chocolate cake. You would lose all the marbling. So all you do, I slowed it down here so you can see, is using either a spatula like I am or a spoon or whatever, is you poke down into the blob that you dropped and you scoop down deep into your pan, and then it's called folding. You lift the batter up and fold it over the top. And you only do it a couple times, right where your big blobs are. That's it. Now I'm turning the spatula sideways and kind of cutting through the chocolate blobs and bringing it out to the sides. Because if you don't, this is just my preference, but I feel like if you don't do this, you end up with your main sources of chocolate in the center of your cake, and none of it gets out to the side. And that to me is like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and not spreading it to the edges. Like, what's the point? You don't want crust that, ugh. Anyway, anyway, yes. So I'm showing you again. I got my big blob of chocolate, so I dig deep down, lift up the batter, fold it over. It is going to mix it a little bit, which is fine. Just don't go ham on it, that's all. And just like before, I turn the spatula sideways, cut through the batter so that it ends up pulling and dragging a little bit to the edges and just a little bit. And that's it. So that's it. If you, like I said before, if you were to like get in there and start stirring, you would end up mixing it all together and you would just have a very, very, very weak chocolate cake. It would not come out the same. So I'm going to show you when I trim the top off here. I had let it sit in the oven a little too long, so it's a little caramelized on the outside. But when you cut the tops off, you're going to be able to see the marble effect that you created. And there it is. Now, I only used a little bit of chocolate. If you want heavier marbling, then you're going to take a little bit more of the batter, mix it in with the cocoa, and then, you'll swirl it in and have more chocolate. This was an extra one that I made, and I had some extra cocoa as well. So this one I have as much darker. So, it's to taste, as my Italian grandfather-in-law used to say. So that's it. That's how you make a marbled cake. And if you guys like what you saw, consider subscribing because it helps me out as well. And I've got a lot of other videos out there. Make sure to take a look, as well as other beginner videos that might be helpful for you. And as always, thanks for watching Caketastic Cakes.